Hey folks, welcome back. This is part 2 of my video on these 2 handy supplements for Traveler 2300 AD. Last week we looked at vehicles of the frontier, and I went into my typical excessive amount of detail, but there are a lot of cool vehicles in there. This week we're going to look at tools for frontier living. So this is personal equipment and gear. Now note that because the base system behind all this is the same as Mongoose Traveler 2E, that you can use stuff from the Central Supply Catalogue so long as it's below tech level 12. That's the maximum of 2300 AD. It's good to have this book so that you have kind of specific stuff designed for use in this particular setting in this type of frontier atmosphere. If we take a quick look at the back here, we can see that inside we'll find space technology, exploration and survival gear, industrial equipment, consumer goods and services, medical tech, and security and police equipment. So I imagine that's going to be weaponry. It's always fun. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I haven't actually looked into this very deeply so far. I've been just trying to get to grips with the setting, but now we're going to discover this volume together. So here we go. Once again, nothing to speak about as far as the end papers go. We can see this book is a bit longer, about 140 pages or so. Have a short intro, then we get to space tech, space suits and upgrades, exploration, survival gear, industrial gear, consumer products and services, medical tech, frontier cybernetics, which is cool, and then security and paramilitary equipment, which of course includes weapons and armor. Hooray. So the intro just tells us again a bit more about the rough nature of life on the frontier. Some of the luxuries that people are used to on the core worlds don't exist out in the frontier. The spacefaring cultures put more emphasis on self-reliance and capability. So particularly cultures like the Belters and Libertines, they more resemble extended families than colonies. There's not a lot of them, so they're always ready to kind of help each other out. So there's interesting stuff about the different philosophies of how to live in these environments. And of course we have the soft path or hard path general philosophies of whether we should modify the environment to suit us or modify ourselves to suit the environment. And so that's a major conflict between a sort of transhuman view and a sort of more purist view of what humanity should be. It tells you how to work out the availability of goods and services. So you need to make broker checks. Law levels can affect whether certain things are available. And tech level, of course, will indicate the local manufacturing capability as well as the general ability to import stuff from off-world. So all of that will affect your ability to find stuff. Military equipment has an additional DM-2 to checks for availability and DM+1 for the cost modifier, and you can see that your availability DM will give you additional cost modifiers. The tier level of the home nation of the colony also impacts availability. So first tier nations, they get bonuses to availability and less cost, whereas the reverse is true for the lesser tier nations. And for pentapod tech, DM-2 is applied for worlds on the French arm, DM-4 on the American arm, and -6 for worlds on the Manchurian arm, and there's no pentapod permitted in the core at all. It's pretty interesting. And they give you some examples here of people trying to buy stuff. So we start out with space tech. So here we have standard equipment buddies. These are children's companions, so it could be carried or worn as a backpack. Available in various forms. They have a voice-activated nanocomp with a comm system, tracker, a small gas jet system, beacon, and a small expert system to help the child. And so they help your child stay safe and stay in touch with friends, and they're networked as well, so you can keep track of them. Got emergency docking tunnels, EVA stick or broomstick. So it's a meter-long telescoping rod with a compressed gas jet at one end, a hook and a magnetic grapple on the other, and a gas shock absorber inside. The gas jet pistol is used inside habitats or in vacuum, and it fires short bursts of propellant to just move you around. You need a routine dex check to use it for 1d seconds, and they're pretty cheap, pretty common. Same thing with the EVA sticks. Magnetic grapplers, just a small cylinder with a battery-powered electromagnet that you can attach to ship hulls, so you can use that to run a safety line and make sure you don't fly off into the depths of space away from your vehicle. Then you have the PAL, which is the adult version of the Buddy. Instead of a plush toy backpack, they're floating balls with a small gas jet touchscreen, and they're voice activated. They also have a nanocomp battery and compressor. They move around with puffs of compressed air, and with handles that can pull someone through a station until they reach their destination. They also have rocket stakes. They're zero-G safety lines that can be attached to surfaces that you can't use grapplers on, such as rocky surfaces or small asteroids. They can also be used as weapons for 1d damage, but DM-2 on attack rolls. Zero-G toolkit, just a bunch of stuff that you'll need to use for mechanics checks in zero gravity. A variety of attachments for a pistol grip like drills, saws, and socket wrenches. Basically everything that you need to do basic repairs outside a ship, for example, or a station. And then we got the snatch. So this is a badge, which is a combination of a dosimeter, air pressure monitor, and carbon dioxide alarm. They upload information to authorized terminals, and they track you as well, and they're typically required for everybody on station to wear. Then we got emergency and rescue equipment. We've got clamp-on airlocks, so if you need to breach a hull quickly without jeopardizing the integrity of the atmosphere. You can use this to do that. It kind of cuts a hole through the hull to access the interior of the ship. You can get people out. Got the cutter spreader, which is shown here, which is adapted for zero-G work. It can shear through 10 centimeters of armored composite material, and the spreader can force open even badly buckled doors and hatches. DM+2 to attempts to free people or equipment trapped in wrecked areas of a ship or station. We have the emergency kit, so every stateroom and common area should have a supply of kits, enough to provide double coverage for the crew and passengers. They contain basic first aid kits, oxygen masks and air bottles, emergency rations, flashlights, earpiece comm units in a sealed package, and a rescue bowl. We have emergency patches, so starship hulls have self-sealing systems, so minor penetrating impacts like micrometeoroids will be taken care of automatically, but for larger breaches you need to use an emergency patch, and they'll be found in the ship's locker, which means you can get them sort of whatever. It's a patch of carbon fiber composite, and it's got a peel-off adhesive, and you just slap it against the breach and it seals the hull. It's spanning into and hardening in the breach. And there's a range of different sizes as well. Got the emergency re-entry kit, used for the extreme sport of orbital diving. So you can only use it on worlds with thin atmosphere or thicker, as it relies on the atmosphere for braking and parachutes for the last landing phase. It's a foam ablative shield, creates a can of high-density foam and a mold around their spacesuit. Process is largely automatic. So the ablative foam slowly burns off the suit, never putting the user at risk. Requires a routine vac suit check. Negative effect is added in minutes through the duration of the entry phase. Effect -6 or worse requires an immediate difficult vac suit check. Failure here results in a re-entry accident where the wearer is killed. Whoops. Then you have the emergency suit, which we see here. To step up from the rescue ball, it's an emergency suit with limited mobility. It's brightly colored, pulled on like overalls. Has a 20-minute air supply, radio transceiver, and visible light and radio beacon. So this is for serious emergencies, not huge air supply. The rescue ball, which we see here, is a 1.5 millimeter inflatable ball. You open it from its packaging, climb inside, and inflates it. The included air supply and recycler provides 6 hours of life support and will maintain the occupant for another 3 hours unconscious before it runs out of air, and they have rescue beacons on them. On civilian ships, these beacons are automatic. On military vessels, these beacons are set to go off automatically upon inflation, but you can control it manually if you don't want to be picked up by bad guys. You got different types of beacons as well in the next section. So claims beacon, something you shove on an asteroid or other object, basically says this is our thing. A rescue beacon is a standard equipment, broadcasts a continuous signal for 144 hours and blinks a brilliant bright light and grants DM+4 to all attempts to locate it. You got warning beacons. These are attached to dangerous or restricted objects. They emit extremely bright pulses of visible light and a multi-frequency radio warning to stay away. Power supply is good for 6 months. They can be supplemented with solar panels. Then we got basic types of satellites placed in orbit. So comm satellites, each provides 20% coverage of a world. So 5 satellites evenly spaced in the same orbit will provide 100% comms coverage. We have the downlink navigation receiver, portable unit used by ground parties to receive broadcasts from navigation satellites. Got nav satellites, solar-powered orbital broadcast transmitters. 5 satellites again will provide full coverage, and they continually broadcast their ID code and current position, so a downlink receiver can establish its surface location to within 50 centimeters. Surveillance satellites, they're solar-powered, orbit roughly 3 times a day, and scan the area directly below and 50 kilometers to either side. Optical resolution of 0.2 centimeters on a clear day. Survey satellites, they map planets and collect meteorological data, placed in geosynchronous orbit to provide surface mapping and data on atmospheric conditions. Then you got weather satellites, purpose-built for weather monitoring. They don't have the resolution for surface mapping, but they tend to go through a low polar orbit, passing over the entire globe in the course of many orbits. We've got different types of spacesuits. So standard equipment, there are 3 general types. There are skin suits, soft suits, and hard suits. Skin suits are skin-type pressure suits made from adaptive memory plastics and myomer controlled by an onboard nanocomp. They learn movements of their wearer and can expand and contract the material in anticipation of enough room to keep soft tissues from expanding in a vacuum. So life support is provided by a small belt pack life support, good for about 30 minutes, which is connected to a small bubble helmet that inflates when attached to the life support unit. And then we have an example of a skin suit here, and a few more examples. So we got the Aether suit, tech level 11, protection 0, can take 10 rads, weighs 2 kilos, 2 upgrade slots. These all require vac suit 0, by the way. You got the Binac, tech level 10, 10 rads, 5 kilos, and vac suit 0, 1 upgrade slot. And the M90 Aces, which gives you 2 points of arm protection, tech level 12, can take 25 rads, and only weighs 3 kilograms. Vac suit 0, but no upgrade slots in that one. Then we have soft suits. So this is what most people think of when they think of space suits. They're the most common type for short to medium duration vacuum exposure, and they're directly descended from classic spacesuits that we use on Earth in Arc Day. Multiple layers for the comfort of the wearer, inner suit, and then an outer suit over top of that, which has 3 additional layers. They take quite a bit longer to put on than a skin suit. So we've got the Gorman R7 Excursion suit. the Trilon PS50 Security Environment Suit, the Star Wanderer Planetary Suit as well. So the Gorman R7 gives you 5 points of armor, tech level 10, 50 rads absorption, 1 kilo of weight, vac suit 0 required, and 1 upgrade slot. PS50 Security Suit gives you plus 10 armor. Can take 100 rads, weighs 9 kilos due to all the armor, and vac suit 1 is required. The Star Wanderer gives you plus 8 armor, 50 rads, weighs 13 kilos. Vac suit 0 is required for that one, but they all have 1 upgrade slot. Then we have the hard suits. These are rigid suits that keep a constant volume of air inside, allowing free and easy movement. So first you put on an undergarment like a soft suit, and then the entire suit is air conditioned on the inside as well. So we have a few examples again. The Horizons Planetary Excursion Suit, which is here, the Orbital Repair and Construction Suit, the SS3, and the Trilon Outer Reach DS5 Work Suit, which is a weird sort of coffin thing going on here. ARI Horizons has protection plus 7, take 100 rads, 9 kilos, requires vac suit 1 and 1 upgrade slot. The DS5 Work Suit gives you 8 points of armor, 150 rads, 93 kilos. That's this big guy here. Vac suit 1 and 1 upgrade slot. And the SS5 Orcs gives you plus 10 protection, 100 rads, 9 kilos, vac suit 0, and 5 upgrade slots. That's pretty cool. The stock one still comes with a 50-kilometer radio transceiver, water bottle, pill dispenser, HUD display, and a portacomp. This increased computing power is often used for fire control for mounted weapons. Nice. So this Outer Reaches suit here is a long duration suit because it has a EVA pack to drive you around. It's got a full load of 5 4-hour bottles of oxygen, and it gets a water bottle, entertainment system, mag boots, toolkit, repair kit, 50-kilometer radio, HUD display, nanocomp, waste disposal, sensors, integral maneuvering unit, and an exo frame giving you strength plus 3. Cool. Then we got suit upgrades you can apply as well. So you can upgrade your comms. You need to have slots, of course, for these upgrades. And the greater the upgrade, the greater the cost. So 50-kilometer comms takes no slots. 500 takes 1 slot. You can add encryption. You can add enhanced optics. So you can have up to a 30x zoom function, thermal imaging and light intensification, and an active glare filter to protect against sunlight and lasers. So that only takes half a slot. You can have a HUD display, which takes no slots. Portacomp. So take up very little space, just half a slot, and it's pretty cheap as well. You can have a sensor rig, which takes 2 slots, but it gives you an active passive array similar to a vehicle sensor suite, but with a lower range. It's more common on scientific or military models, and DM plus 1 to recon or electronic sensors checks. Then we got comfort options. Entertainment systems for your nanocomp, take up half a slot. Maximum absorbency garment, pill dispensers if you need to get medications or performance enhancing drugs like pseudoamphetamines. The scratch pad, so a slightly rough pad inside a helmet that allows the wearer to scratch their nose. That's handy. And then there's standard diapers if you don't want the maximum absorbency garment, or you can have a waste collection. These are basically a catheter and a collection system, shall we say. Good for 12 to 24 hours, but it says uncomfortable and unpopular, seldom functions correctly, especially in 0G, and is only ever used as a last resort. Not particularly great. I'd go with the diapers, I guess. Then you have water bottles. They give you 1 liter of water, usually loaded with electrolytes, and some miners spike it with pseudoamphetamines to improve response times and wakefulness. Then we got the exterior options you can add, so cargo rings, attach points for cables, equipment, or towed loads, but you can't use them on skin suits. Exo frames are most commonly used on planetary suits and add DM plus 2 to all strength-based checks, but you need 2 slots for that one, and 50 kilos of weight is added. Half exo frame you can use either just for the upper body or the lower body, plus 1 slots for that. Lower body frame helps distribute and balance the awkward weight. The upper body frame grants DM plus 2 to strength checks. Lower body gives you DM plus 2 to endurance check. Then you've got gecko toe boots, which are similar to mag boots. They use molecular adhesion to grip any material except PTFE plastics like Teflon, high density composites, and carbon nanotubes. They take no slots. Then you got mag boots. So these allow you to, like Star Trek style or Star Wars style, to walk on the surface of a starship, or you can use them as anchor points if you prefer. You've got a rescue shelter. So it inflates to 2 reflective foil hemispheres, which you see here. Then you can exit the suit and make repairs if something goes wrong with the suit while you're outside. It has the equivalent of 60 minutes of air. Most safety authorities require at least half of all workers on space-based projects to carry a rescue shelter. You also have a suit repair kit. This is for emergency repairs. Besides like very small tears and stuff, there are strips, panels, and patches, tube dispensers of fast-acting sealant, stuff like that. Space toolkits, which are just standard space stuff. And then you can add Waldo arms, which are remote-controlled arms. They have a strength of 20 and a dex of 6. We got personal life support systems, or PLSS. We've seen that acronym a few times already. So the Lifeline PLSS-A is tech level 12. They don't have a separate air bottle. They last for 2 hours, take 0 expansion slots. Then we have the Sustainer PLSS-B, which uses 1 air bottle and lasts for 8 hours and takes 1 slot. And then we have some other examples of these different types of units. These are kind of the general categories. They can hold up to 4 bottles, depending. So long haul class E holds 4 bottles. So you can keep 48 hours of air, but it needs 4 expansion slots and weighs 44 kilos. And then we have, different variety of PLSS here. And then bottle racks give you the capability to have 4 additional air bottles and swap them out on the fly. Then we got different types of air bottles, different durations and sizes and tech levels. Ultra high pressure air bottles. Seems like they weigh a bit less, and they have a higher duration from 90 minutes to 720 instead of from 45 to 360. You can have some PLSS options as well, like additional scrubbers to extend the life support duration by 50%, additional batteries to give them more power, a radiation screen, provides plus 500 rads protection against most types of charged particles. That's useful. And the UHP bottle adapter, so that will allow you to use ultra high pressure bottles. Crew maneuvering units are EVA packs, which we've seen on current day spacesuits as well, the EVA packs. There are different types of these, of course. The Voyager, the Colibri, and the ST-50 are listed here. Different movement speeds, tech levels, and ranges, and weights. The Voyager has 2 upgrade slots. The other 2 are faster and can move farther, but don't have the upgrade slots. And then we just have some examples. And we have the bespoke suits of Hesperides Station, a small asteroid station in the leading Trojan cluster of Foucault, largest gas giant in the Bessier system. Provide DM +1 to any athletics check while in 0G, and any mechanic, electronics, or profession belter check likewise gains DM +1. And they're also decorated in a distinctive style. Any non-belter that obtains a custom skin is looked on with disdain by most spacers and derided as a poser. So a custom skin costs double the price of a standard spacesuit. We got exploration and survival gear. So these protect you from harsh conditions of various types. We've got the auto grapnel. This is a grappling gun. It can fire 20 meters distance and then pull 100 kilos up the trailing rope. And the battery that powers it is rechargeable for 20 uses. We've got the backpack, which obviously will carry stuff for you, and includes a 3-liter hydration pack with a tube running to the mouth. You've got your biomonitor, which you wear on your wrist and reads out breathability of atmospheres, noting any harmful pollens or toxins, and it can give analysis of the edibility of plant and animal tissues if you hook it up to a portacomp. You've got your canteen to hold water. You've got climbing kits, which give you +1 to athletics checks related to climbing. You've got compact rations, which are a complete prepackaged meal of about 1,000 calories, fortified with extra vitamins and minerals. There's a regular ration pack, and then there's a military ration pack. The military ones provide 2,000 calories and are more basic fare, less likely to cause stomach upset, but they're bland to the point of tastelessness, and have textures that can best be described as interesting. There you go. Also, food synthesizers, so they can detoxify local food sources and add essential elements for human consumption when compact rations aren't available. Sometimes a food synthesizer can even make the result palatable. Analyzes the contents, kills local pests, neutralizes toxic elements, and adds the missing vitamins or minerals, and ejects either dried or pulpy form. So you need refills for these to provide the necessary stuff that goes into your reprocessed food. You got flares to send a signal at a distance, typically come 6 to a set. Want to mark landing areas and stuff like that. Inertial compass will always indicate a preset direction, even if the wearer undergoes movement involving flight or underwater travel. Inertial map is a small nanocomp with a detailed map of a 10 kilometer square area in a holographic picture. Windproof lighter with a high pressure plasma flame at 1,000 degrees C. Load bearing harness allows you to carry your equipment load evenly across your body. You've got a multi-tool, contains all kinds of useful stuff like pliers and wire cutters, strippers, pry bars, bottle openers. So basically Swiss Army knife for the 23rd century. Small pressure tent. You're seeing an example here. Inflatable hemispherical tent with a radius of 2 meters. A small airlock life support system for 12 person days. 12 people for 1 day or 1 person for 12 days. The airlock can be detached for use on worlds with breathable atmospheres and is powered by a solar panel. If you don't have any sun, you still get 12 hours of power out of it. And you have a large version of it, which is a half cylinder shape and a length of 10 meters. So it's more of an exploration base. And it's good for 120 person days of life support. And you can subdivide the interior in a lot of different ways, and it can be run off rooftop solar cells or a light power supply. Then we've got the respirator, which we see here. I got one of those. Often you don't need a whole protective suit. It's just the atmosphere that's bad. You need to filter out pollutants or bad shit in the air. So a filter mask will give you +2 to checks resisting atmospheric taints, including planetary adjustment syndrome checks. And we have rope, obviously, to tow things. We have advanced carbon rope, which is spun carbon fiber, just barely thick enough to grab and needs special gloves to use. use break-in weight of 10 tons instead of 500 kilos for regular rope. We've got cross-country skis, we've got snowshoes, we've got portable stoves powered by solar panels, regular tent, which is non-pressurized and sleeps 4, uses memory plastic to set itself up and take itself down. Without human intervention, it takes 10 minutes to set up. With human help, it takes 5. It's got inflatable pads for rigidity and comfort. And the water purifier is a battery-operated microfilter and chemical treatment machine that can purify local water sources, but it requires 15 minutes per liter of water. And then there's a sidebar here about the British Pathfinder Corps, so the most famous of the professional colony groundbreakers. Then we get into more survival gear, lightweight, easy to use, and single use, and more for emergencies, not for treks. So we have the survival blanket, the space blanket kind of thing that you see as a reflective layer, so it captures a person's heat and is windproof. It also has a thin film battery providing additional warmth for up to 18 hours. Survival cocoon contains heating and cooling elements, works in almost any air temperature, includes a hood. The included power cell provides up to 48 hours of comfort up to 50 degrees C or as far down as minus 40. A 6-day backpack survival kit, 24 liters of water, water filtration kit, 6 flares, knives, entrenching tools and hatchets, flashlights, emergency transmitter, first aid kit, 4 survival blankets, 50-kilometer range transceiver, solar charger, hand crank charger, 6 days of food concentrate, respirator with 10 filters, 3x4 meter tarps, moist towelettes, disposal bags, chewing gums, a box of soul stuff, and a box of 500 matches. Wow, pretty handy. Then you got the survival tent, the Outrek Life Pod, a 2-person single-use inflatable tent. So for emergency shelter, basically. A high-density battery provides heat and light for 72 hours. It has no beacon, but the outer layer is highly reflective, so it can be easily found even under snow. Then we got aquatic gear, so fishing equipment like rods, lines, and nets. So in areas with abundant fish, a routine survival check or professional fisherman check will determine if you're successful in fishing. The effect is the amount of fish caught per hour in kilograms multiplied by the equipment used. And here they have the multipliers for fishing rods, long lines, and fishing nets. If you have a sonar unit, you get DM +2 to the roll. Seafloor traps used to catch crustaceans, basically. Then we have safety equipment. The immersion suit is like a battery-powered heat suit with a watertight outer layer, so it can keep the wearer alive even in sub-zero conditions. We've got the basic life raft, a self-inflating boat rated to hold 1,000 kilos in standard gravity, and it can actually hold up to 1,400 before swamping. The personal flotation device is a life jacket. We know what that does. So an inflated PFD gives you a -1 to most physical-based checks, but +2 to athletics endurance while trying to stay afloat. Also available for dogs. Oh, that's adorable. Survival rafts. It's a fully enclosed version of the life raft. Enough room for 4 adults. Emergency beacon, radio, small heater, and water purifier, all powered by solar. Includes 40-person days of rations, which can be stretched to 120-person days if you ration them out. Then we have diving gear. So a decompression chamber is used to return a deep diver to surface pressure at a slow enough rate that you don't get decompression sickness or the bends. Diving gear. Here we talk about how the bends work in game terms. It's not great, is the summary. Basic diving gear and advanced diving gear, so dispenses with the tank in favor of a gill unit. That's pretty cool. It makes use of more sophisticated low friction materials for the wetsuit and fins. We have a fluid rebreather diving suit, so it lets you dive to tremendous depths, fills divers' lungs and provides oxygen even more efficiently than air with oxygenated fluid. Pretty cool. Maximum depth in a heated flexible suit is about 5,000 meters, although some have dived as deep as 9,000 meters on Earth, but you still need a decompression chamber, obviously. Saturation diving suit. Those were extremely deep dives, bulkier than normal suit and reduces swimming speed by 50%. A safe depth is 20 times deeper than with a conventional mixture. We also have an underwater rebreather, air recycling pack, filters in the rebreather, scrubs CO2 from the user's exhaled air, and a battery-powered electrolyzer removes oxygen from the surrounding water, adding it into the recycled air. So you can remain submerged for days at a time. The only limits are imposed by the life of the CO2 scrubbers and the battery pack. Each of these is good for 72 hours. Underwater rebreathers have double the safe dive depth of conventional diving gear. Wow. They also give you some protection. So fluid rebreather +5, saturation +3, underwater rebreather +11. The fluid rebreather also gets protection from 50 rads, but not the other ones. Fluid rebreather requires vac suit 0, no skills required for the others. Then we've got general aquatic stuff, so desalination filter to get rid of salt and allow you to drink stuff. Inflatable boat, it's inflated by a battery-powered pump or contains of compressed air. Takes 5 minutes to inflate a 2-person boat. There's also a 4-person version. There's the portable sonar, so it allows you to construct a 3D image of the surrounding region out to about 150 meters. We have a small electric motor, which can be attached to a fully loaded 4-seat boat, and you can move at idle speed. We have the undersea sled, which we see here, a small battery-operated towing unit for a single diver. So a diver would grab onto the handles here. Controls are very simple, and it uses athletics endurance to operate. Can dive up to 500 meters before hollow spaces inside are crushed. The battery is good for 6 hours. We've got sensors and scopes. So we got base camp security sensors, provide warning of intruders at remote sites. Binoculars, you got various different types, regular ones, light amp, passive range finding, and active range finding. Then we have the far scope that allows magnification from 15x to 200x, includes a light intensifier for nighttime viewing. Then we have the far seer, so it magnifies objects and or allows night vision by internally enhancing the light received. It has some disadvantages. The laser that it uses is visible to instruments watching for it, and the electrostatic lens will not hold focus in a strong electrical field, such as a nearby lightning storm. Nearby Gauss weapons will also disrupt focus. Magnifies from 1 to 100x. It's popular with civilians, but it's not good for military because of the vulnerability to magnetic fields, which are going to be pretty common. Ground penetrating radar. Imagers. It's a high resolution, high definition digital imaging camera that can shoot a full 256 FPS video and shutter speeds as fast as 1/10,000th of a second, equipped with 10x to 200x optical zoom. You can also have other lenses like telephoto and macro. Infrared viewers do much the same thing, with an effective range of 500 meters, but very hot objects can be seen a bit farther. The large lifeform detector is a moving point IR sensor which works on vehicles. It has a range of only 1,000 meters, but it's designed to be used by zoological field teams. Then you've got microscopes, optical magnification up to 2000x using near field scanning, and can resolve subjects just 20 nanometers in size. Observatory elements, a large folding array telescope, 7 mirror elements in hexagonal shape. It can see objects in low orbit or peer into the depths of space. Then we got portable labs, give you DM+1 to research-based checks, but they're not available for all specializations. Typically used for archaeology, biology, chemistry, physics, planetology, and xenobiology. They also require a portacomp to use the portable lab. Then you have a radio detector, locate radio transmissions and locate the transmitter within 5 kilometers. To pinpoint the signal, you need 2 radio detectors, a minimum of 1 kilometer apart, and both operators must succeed at an average electronic sensors check. Pinpointing is a difficult electronics check, 10+. Then we got the remote meteorological station. So it's a small data collection station for monitoring rainfall, humidity, atmospheric pressure, wind speed, and direction. We have the sampling kit carried on shoulder strap. So it's used for field samples, available for soil, minerals, plants, and gas. The spotting scope is a small telescope used for terrestrial viewing, a magnification between 10 and 120x, and it can have a thermal attachment as well. The star scope is a Newtonian reflector telescope designed for astronomy uses. Then we have the superconducting electromagnetic radiation sensor. It's a high dynamics AN99 superconducting electromagnetic radiation sensor. I'll pronounce schemers, okay. Extremely sensitive sensor designed to pick up the faint electromagnetic emissions of modern electrical and electronic equipment. Then there's some kind of large lifeform detector. Industrial equipment. So we got portable power and lighting, so various gas-fired generators, and depending on the size, you'll get different weights and different costs associated with them. Fuel cells are used for wilderness situations and providing power. They run for 12 hours on full load and provide light power. So different equipment will have different light, medium, or heavy requirements for power. So the generators and stuff like that are rated along those lines. And a fuel station, which is a solar-powered processor, holds 4 fuel cells and 10 solar panels, can provide the equivalent of medium power, portable vertical windmill. As long as you have a steady wind of at least 8 kilometers per hour, they can produce light power for as long as the wind blows. Solar panels. 4 such panels would provide the equivalent of light power, although only during daylight hours. An individual panel is useful for recharging personal electronics, but not much else. A storage bank is a bunch of reconfigurable batteries used to store energy from a power production system, like solar panels or a windmill, where your source of power is not consistent. They can bank the charge for 8 hours at light levels, and then produce the power for 6 hours after that. Handheld lighting, so glow patches, adhesive lights you can stick to a surface, glow sticks. And if you're going raving on your colony, I guess, you got your hand torches, typically run for 20 hours. You've got headlamps, lanterns, they'll typically last 36 hours and illuminate 10 meters around you. Spotlights will illuminate an area 3 meters across at ranges up to 50 meters. Tactical flashlights, these are for soldiers. Narrow beam of light with a range of 20 meters and a maximum width of 1.5. Battery will last for about 10 hours. You got outdoor lighting systems. You've got area lights down here. They need 1 dedicated light power supply each, although up to 10 can operate from a medium power supply. They produce bright, workable light in a cone 100 meters long by 200 meters wide. They've got the searchlight, so they're very focused, working for range rather than area. You need dedicated light power supply. The beam is 500 meters long by only 10 meters wide. Painfully bright to look at and can cause temporary blindness, okay? There's also infrared searchlights that are available. And then there are work lights. So these are also portable units. They brightly illuminate a large area. You can hang from hooks or on the extendable tripod included. You need a light power power supply which can run 20 of them at once. They produce bright workable light in a cone 20 meters long by 20 meters wide. You can also use vehicles as power sources, so light vehicles can function as light power sources, heavy vehicles can function as medium power sources, and a seagoing ship of 100 spaces or more can function as a heavy power source for a number of hours equal to the remaining range divided by 20. Then it's got info about fueling vehicles, so typically fuel cell vehicles require hydrogen, gas turbines or MHD turbines can run on almost any combustible liquid or gas with little work, while a typical Stirling cycle can burn everything. They can even run off solid fuel like wood or coal. Natural gas is readily available on most colony worlds with only minimal infrastructure. So it's the most common type after hydrogen. Then we got tools and industrial equipment. So basic hand tools coming in handy set, wrenches, screwdrivers, etc. Construction tools have stuff like hammers, saws, hatchets, and chisels. Excavating tools includes picks, shovels, and other such things to move earth around. Gunsmith tools allow maintenance and modification to chemically propelled firearms, binary propellant weapons, but not Gauss or energy weapons. Vehicle maintenance tools use torque wrenches, grease guns, and have engine and fuel cell calibration tools and other specialized stuff for vehicles. Then you have advanced tools like the chainsaw. There we go. So it's an 18 centimeter bar, heavy duty chainsaw, suitable for felling most medium-sized trees. Then we have the cutter bar, a brush clearing tool. It can do gruesome damage, but is unwieldy. And yeah, you can use them as weapons as well. Damage 5D for a chainsaw. Armor piercing 10, but it's bulky. They need battery power, so of course you have replacement batteries as well. You have the laser cutter, so if you have a medium or better power supply, you can cut 1 meter of hardened steel up to 15 centimeters thick in 1 minute. Got electronic repair tools, so these can repair electronic, photonic equipment, and Gauss and energy weapons. The multi-tool, they work on a standard range of fasteners used on different vehicles. So for light, medium, or heavy, you have different tool sets. Nail guns, so they use electromagnetic energy like a Gauss weapon to drive long nails quickly and accurately. They can also be used to join wood, synthetic, and metal structural material to concrete using special nails. Can also be used as low-powered, short-range, wildly inaccurate Gauss guns. Damage 1D minus 1, DM minus 2 on attacks. They're illegal in Manchurian and Incan colonies. So that's interesting. Power hand tool kit, things like chainsaws, jigsaws, rotary saws, and drills. Powered openers, so these are designed to force open locked or jammed doors, including airlocks. Powered shears can cut through steel beams up to 40 centimeters thick, but they require at least medium power. Rescue jaws, combining a powered opener with powered shears. So they cut and force their way into vehicles and ships. Again, they need medium power. The mini excavator can shift 30 cubic meters of loose dirt or gravel per hour and can be used to run lines in a camp for water, sewage, power, and data, bringing them safely out of the way. Got the plasma cutter and wielder. It's powered by a compact LMS power cell, which provides enough power for 5 minutes worth of cutting or welding. Cut through 50 centimeters of hardened steel up to 4 centimeters thick in 1 minute. Welding is quicker and requires welding rods in addition to the hand unit itself. Then you've got specialized equipment, the spinner, the A5 spinner, offshoot of the development that led to the creation of the long chain carbon nanotubes that comprise a beanstalk, the space elevator. It spins hypersilk, basically, a chemical similar to spider silk but stronger. It's a hypersilk nanotube composite. If stretched taut, the cable can inflict 3D damage. Each spinner can create up to 2 kilometers of cable. It has extremely high tensile strength. You've got stick kits, a disposable adhesive patch. It'll adhere to anything except PTFE plastics like Teflon in almost any environment. A small electric charge deactivates the adhesive. And they can be used for anything from patching hulls to creating ladders or suffocating creatures. Wow. Fabricators, so these are for making stuff, basically advanced 3D printing. So we've got portable fabricators, can create objects up to 100 by 100 by 30 centimeters, sufficient for most replacement parts for basic stuff. Takes 10-15 minutes to print out something. Small fabricators can create small parts and models up to 15 by 15 by 15 centimeters. Then we have the Prometheus Industrial Fabricator, can create objects up to 3 by 3 by 1 meters, sufficient for replacement parts or even new equipment manufacture. Then we have explosives. Okay, binary explosives. These are for mining and construction, all these. A charge has 2 separate chemicals, stable on their own, and then when they mix, they blow up with armor piercing 15, blast 10, damage 5D. Cataclysmite uses nano fabrication to create a tertiary explosive of incredible power. Got a plasma arc detonator cap. Does 8D damage, AP 15, blast 15. Okay. Then we got det cord, stabilized plastic explosive extruded in a 5mm diameter cable used in rapid clearance and demolition. So 2D damage, AP 10, blast 1. Plastique 9, plastic explosive, essentially. 3D of damage, blast 10. Then you got protective industrial wear, so the hard hat, of course, heavy boots, they give you protection plus 3. The fire suit, built-in life support and heat sinks for 30 minutes with an outside safety envelope of additional 15 minutes. Hostile environment suit, close-fitting, flexible environment suit with added protective material for use in particularly hostile environments. And then we got welding gear as well. Oh, and high-vis clothing. So that gives you +2 to recon checks to be spotted or DM-4 to stealth checks. So high-vis gives you no protection and no rad protection and no skills required. Welding gear +3 protection, no rads, but weighs 6 kilograms. Fire suit +2 protection, no rads, no skills required. Hostile environment suit +4 protection, 500 rads of protection, 20 kilograms, and requires vac suit 0. It's very similar to an EVA suit. Now we got robots and drones. Cool. So we have remote operated vehicles of various types. So the aerial drone here, this has got 6 little rotors here. Hits 1. So it's used in racks, tech level 11. It's a vertical takeoff and landing with skill of recon 1, 24 hours of endurance, armor +3, small -4, basic programming of drone int 0, and it can have various modifications for additional detectors and stuff. We've got space drones. So this has 1 hit. Locomotion by thruster, skill of recon 1, 2 manipulators at strength 1, dex 7, 2 hours of endurance, +3 armor, small -4. Programming is none or drone int 0, and then there's a few different options, of course. Then we have underwater drones, the Minnow 3, 1 hit, speed 3 meters, tech level 11, aquatic motion, recon 1 skills, 2 manipulators, strength 1, dex 7, 72 hours of endurance. Amphibious, armor +3, heightened senses, IR vision, small -4. Programming is drone int 0, and then it has some additional possibilities. We got sensor drones. These are eyes in the sky. The flying disc camera platform is the V10 flying disc here. It's got a pair of high-speed cameras, very maneuverable and effectively disposable. Got a recon 1 skill, 24 hours of endurance, amphibious, armor +4, flyer at idle speed, heightened senses again, IR vision, and small -4 with standard drone programming and a bunch of options there. The hazmat drone is meant to go into harm's way, so it's got 20 hits on this instead of 1. Moves on tracks, that's this guy here. 2 manipulators at strength 9, dex 7, 72 hours endurance, armor +3, ATV, heightened senses and IR vision traits, and no programming, so they're kind of remotely driven. The herd drone is a small lighter than air drone that drifts around herds of livestock to monitor their condition. Interesting. It just has 1 hit, locomotion, lighter than air, so it's an airship drone basically. 48 hours of endurance, armor +4, flyer at idle speed, heightened senses, IR vision, small -4, and can be either non-programmed or programmed as a simple drone. The SAR drone is a multi-segmented device that can work its way through crevices to search and rescue. Speed is 4 meters, 1 hit, locomotion by tracks, recon 0 skills, 2 manipulators at strength 1, dex 7, 72 hours of endurance, amphibious, armor +4, ATV, heightened senses, IR vision, small -4, programming none or simple drone. The spider drone, there you go, used to get closer to ground areas of interest without risking the robot itself. So 1 hit, moves by walking, endurance 72 hours, amphibious, armor +4, ATV, heightened senses, IR vision, and small -4, and no programming. Got the ROV, remote operated vehicle, torpedo shaped vehicle. It's an aquatic drone. So it's got speed of 3 meters, hits of 14, manipulators 2x, strength 7, dex 7 manipulators, 72 hours endurance, amphibious, armor +10, heightened senses, IR vision, seafarer, and small -1. And it can be unprogrammed or have simple drone activities. Then we got robots. So we've got the cleaner robot. So the cleaner robot is called the Yellow Jack for its high visibility torso colors. It can handle most routine cleaning tasks at hospitals, office buildings, warehouses, and similar buildings. 12 hits, 2 meters speed, moves on wheels, skills, mechanic 0, profession cleaner 0, and steward 1. It's got 2 strength 7, dex 7 manipulators, 216 hours endurance, armor +4, heightened senses, small -1. Programming level is basic service int 4. Crop spider, designed to travel through fields and crops, taking soil and plant samples and looking for insects and parasites. Hits 1, speed 5 meters, is a walker, skills investigate 0, profession farmer 2, recon 0. Can attack with a stinger for 1d damage. It's got 2 strength 1, dex 7 manipulators, armor +4, heightened senses, IR vision, and small -4, and basic laborer programming int 4. All right. Domestic robot Rosie, that's her. So she takes 20 hits, speed of 5 meters, tech level 11, moves by walking. Got a bunch of skills. Admin 1, athletic strength 1, carouse 0, profession domestic servant 2, that's good. Recon 0, stealth 2, steward 2. No attacks, she's peaceful, is Rosie. 2 manipulators at strength 9, dex 7, 72 hours endurance, +3 armor, all terrain, and IR vision, and she's got no or drone programming. We got the cleaner robot, which we saw on the other page. We've got the mining robot over here, track driven rotor-driven robot, agility -2. So this is a vehicle listing basically here. So we've got armor 1775, speed very slow or idle, range 600 and 900 respectively, 72 hull points. It's an ATV robot, advanced +0, skills, drive, track, and profession mining. Gets +0 on autopilot, and it carries a plasma borer, range 10 meters, damage 2 destructive, so 2d times 10, AP 10, auto 2. We also have an observation robot. It's a rotor-driven aerial sensor, hits of 1, locomotion VTOL, athletics dexterity 1, navigation 1 skills, 24 hours endurance, armor +3, flyer at idle speed, IR vision, small -4, and it's got advanced programming with intelligence 7. It's pretty useful. Then we got a security robot. Look at this fierce looking guy. So he can take 20 hits, speed of 7 meters. His name is Vigilance, apparently. He moves by walking. He's got athletics, strength 1, gun combat, slug 1, melee 0, navigation 1, profession security 1, recon 3, stealth 2, and tactics military 1. He also carries a 30mm grenade launcher, MP67, a 1d damage punch, and a sonic stunner for 3d of stun damage. That's awesome. Manipulators 2 times strength 9, dex 7, arms, 58 hours endurance. He's got traits of alarm, armor +12. Heightened senses, IR vision. He's got advanced programming with int 7 and a bunch of possible mods as well. Then we got microbots. These are insect size and designed to look like insects. We got the roach at 3 to 4 centimeters long, like a mid-sized beetle. It can't fly, but scuttles around. It can stick to almost any surface, save Teflon type stuff. Also can be used as an audio monitor. The abdomen will then be taken up by a high-gain microphone. Takes 1 hit. Speed 5 meters. So walker, athletics, dexterity 1, athletics, endurance 0, recon 2, stealth 2, 58 hours endurance, ATV, small -4, basic recon intelligence 4. We got the swarm, which is dozens of tiny machine, each one an element in a distributed visual array. Each is about half the size of an average housefly. Wow, okay, so there's 36 elements. Each time the swarm is used, 1d -1 elements are lost. When the swarm is at or below 18, recon checks suffer DM -2, and when the swarm is at 9 elements or less, it ceases to return a meaningful image. So it takes 1 hit, locomotion VTOL, athletics dexterity 1, recon 2, stealth 2, no attacks, no manipulators, 1.9 hours endurance, traits, flyer, small -5, basic recon intelligence of 4. All right. Then we've got the wasp. So here we have our roaches, the swarm, here's the wasp. Smaller than the roach, but can fly, as well as move on the surface. It can also have microbot wasp venom to harass a target. It's got 1 hit, tech level 12, VTOL, athletics dexterity 1, athletics endurance 0, recon 2, stealth 2. Has an injector needle, average 8+ endurance, 1d -1, 1d minutes. 19 hours endurance, can fly at idle speed, small -4, basic recon intelligence 4. We got dolls and shells. So these are used for interpersonal interaction. So if you want to visit a world surface as if you were really there, but you can't really go there because it's too dangerous, or for various illicit purposes, you may use a shell or a doll to obfuscate yourself. The Aquitaine Rover Enhanced Tourist Shell has 22 hits, speed 6 meters, tech level 14, wow, 2 strength 9, dex 8 manipulators, 72 hours endurance, armor +4, heightened senses. We've got the modified Eve 6 doll Lilith, 20 hits, tech level 14, athletics dexterity 1, athletics strength 1, carouse 2, deception 4, melee blade 2, melee 0, profession domestic servant 2, science psychology 2, stealth 2, and steward 3. They can punch you for 1 dice of damage. They've got 2x strength 9, dex 8 manipulators, 72 hours endurance, armor +8, and heightened senses, and very advanced int 12 programming. Wow. Then we got some possible design changes you can make. You can use these with the robot handbook. You can add airship lift, subordinate robot carriers. They can carry external smaller robots. And scientific robots can carry around a mini lab and consumes 4 slots. Or you can have a remote control tether if you don't want to use the onboard drone controller. And tether grants DM +1 to all checks made with a tethered drone. Now we've got some consumer products and services. So auto kitchens, a self-contained kitchen in a box. That's pretty cool. With a refrigerator, food printer, freezer, electric range, and combination microwave convection oven. It's got a sink but needs an external water source. Zapomoga Extreme Coffee Maker. Brews coffee in all conditions, including low or 0G. Americo Top Chef Food Printer. So they print out food based on 3D printer technologies. Pocket Chef Food Printer. So it can mix ingredients, create a range of tastes and textures, but you have to cook it with something else. Stole Stuff is basically a soft absorbent substance that foams up and cures to a fluffy consistency. Widely used as a facial tissue, and it takes less than 2 seconds to cure. Also uses bandages, rags, washcloths, and towels. You can have composting toilets. Very common on worlds where the local biosphere is incompatible with human crops. It has no odor, but is typically kept in outhouse type buildings. Then you got clothing automats that can make clothing automatically. Then we got different types of clothing: cheap, fashionable and formal, with all the utilitarian and plain in there as well, different costs. And for fashionable, you need to work in your soc stat as well as formal. And then clothing add-ons, you can add light panels, flexible screens, color changing, or morphing aspects. Then you got different types of uniforms, some of which add a little bit of protection, like military uniforms on the field at +2. Standard military uniform gets +1. Overcoat will protect you from rain or cold weather. Waterproof gear will protect you from heavy seas and heavy rains and stuff like that. Armor trench coats give you +8 protection, and you have a layer of ballistic gel that provides also some radiation protection, 25 rads. Hide duster, long leather heavy coat, very durable and treated to be water repellent with protection +3. You got boots, headgear, so a basic cap or a neck drape, a full-on hat, protect you from the sun and the elements. Eyewear, so you can have sunglasses, high fashion sunglasses, auto darkening sunglasses, or glasses with a wireless HUD, heads-up display connected to a biomonitor, portacomp, or nanocomp. Shooting glasses are designed to protect eyes from gunpowder fragments and debris. Then we've got gloves, so light gloves, which have a little protective value, heavy gloves, and tactical gloves, so they add +1 to the damage of unarmed strikes. Environmental protection, cold climate clothing helps you survive down to -50. Hot climate clothing cools you down, can reduce the effective outside temperature by 15 degrees. Got rain gear as well. Jewelry and personal items, so the chrono is the replacement for the watch. It's not much more than a basic watch. Precision machinery, and is kind of a status symbol. And we've got leather wrist bracers. They're ostentatious garments for no real purpose. Personal makeup, professional makeup kits, +2 to relevant art, performer, deception, or persuade checks. Computer controlled security systems suffer DM-1 to checks when attempting to penetrate a disguise. Personal hygiene kits. These are useful, particularly when you're working out in the wilds. So you have things like dental hygiene, sonic toothbrushes, floss picks, nano wipes, and the famous shower in a can. Feminine hygiene kits, commanded you for 1 month. Then we've got the skin watch. It's a tattoo on your skin that will show you the time and will help identify time of death. Then there are different types of tattoo that you can get, light panels, display panels with touch receptors as well. Auto tattoo artist, Leonardo, there you go. You can be found on countless starport bars and hotels. Spacers only use these machines for special purpose tattoos like skin watches and displays, preferring the human touch for decorative work. That makes sense. Personal electronics, you got the Lynx audio system, 3D surround sound, gaming consoles, okay. It's funny that that's an actual thing. There are different types and brands. Best friend, okay. It's a toy aimed at younger children. A nanocomp with a link connection and a soft touchscreen display in his chest that also responds to voice commands. The limbs can move, and the face has realistic expressions. It also allows parents and authorities to monitor the child's movements and interactions with others. Children get very attached to their best friend. Wow, that's creepy. But I can definitely see that happening. Then we have various types of toys, like general plush toys, plush pentapod talking toy. That's interesting. Handmade rag dolls, construction toys, so Legos and stuff like that. Momotaro Envision VR rig. These are for people who don't want cybernetics or a neural jack. You can use a VR rig to get a similar effect without adding things to your physical body. And of course, we have different kinds of folding furniture and flat pack furniture for the IKEA of the future. We've got services and accommodation, so entertainment, things like ebooks, paper books, experiential entertainment, so these require VR or a neural jack. Music, movies, live music. Typical cost for food vending machines. These are food printers that can do weird stuff like the foot-long egg with a flaky toasted outer biscuit layer. And American-style burger rolls. Yikes. So here's some examples of beers and recreational substances. Stim sticks, also called a sin stick, is a cigarette guaranteed not to be addictive, carcinogenic, or stain your teeth. We've got beer, wine and spirits, other drugs. So mild drugs, this is like marijuana and certain hallucinogens. Moderate drugs are things like amphetamine, analogs, and synthetic adrenaline. Dangerous drugs are opium derivatives, cocaine derivatives, and powerful hallucinogens. Coffee tastes very significantly from world to world. Then we have tea. Got soft drink. The most widely consumed is Americola. Then we've got Booster, which is an energy drink, and Index to improve performance and concentration. So it's loaded with as much artificial caffeine analog and pure cane sugar as American laws will allow. It's a favorite with students and fringers. All right. Bottom of the Beanstalk. One of the most expensive and exclusive restaurants in human space, Chastain's, the bottom of the Beanstalk, sits on the far end of the Beanstalk counterweight in orbit around Beta Canum. Okay, just getting there is an adventure, apparently. There's no menu. You eat what you're served with the guarantee that it will be superb. And they give you an example of a 9-course meal. lodging and general costs, commercial space travel, and coffin hotels, stack of modules, about 1.2 by 1.5 by 2.2 meters. Then we got transport costs. So if you don't have a vehicle of your own, you can get local transit for pretty cheap, like auto-driving auto cabs. The tube in the core, these are passenger trains, basically hyperloops. They hit 2,000 kilometers per hour. Passenger trains, they're rare in the core where they use the tube system, the hyperloops, but they're common on the frontier. They travel 300 to 400 kilometers per hour. Airships are common on the frontier, not often used in the core outside of the French Empire where they're used for direct high volume cargo. We got airplane travel, suborbital space planes. So that's the fastest, most expensive to get anywhere on a planet. Then we have vehicle rental as well. So they give you tier level of the colony or nation and the DM that you'll need for your broker or streetwise check to try and get that. +2 just by virtue of being in the core if you are there. Then we got computers. So we have body comps. These are worn across the body as a distributed unit, and it gives you the processing amounts for each of these different types of computers, tech level, the weight, and the cost. House comps is a network of nanocomps and a central control system equivalent in processing power to a portacomp. So this kind of fully automates your home. Almost universally present in homes in the core, at least in tier 1 to 4 nations. They're rare on the frontier, but making inroads. Then you got the link phone. So they have lower processing, but they do have voice data access. Then you got the nanocomp, which is a small personal computer, the portacomp, rugged portacomp, and workstations, which are like desktop equivalents. Here's a portacomp. So the nanocomp can be included as part of clothing or equipment, or even on its own as a novelty or low-cost computer. It can even be found in rings, pendant, or earrings. It has effectively unlimited storage and can run for 50 hours before requiring recharge. Portacomp is a small handheld computer, can run up to 5 memory or program chips, and good for 36 hours battery. And the back is protected by molded Kevlar with protection +4, and it can access the link. The workstation comp, these are, for content creation and static computer stations on starships and businesses or hotels, hospitals, whatever. And there are accessories you can get for your tech, like body motion sensors, a large holographic display, or display tank as it's called, finger sensors, so you can use the hand for typing or as a virtual input device, flexible monitor that can be rolled into a tube, heads-up display, which you can put almost anywhere, and they run for 48 hours. Personal area network or a body area network. So basically all the stuff on your body can be linked via microcurrents conducted across the surface of the skin. So you can have body sensors and all kinds of stuff all linked together. A pico projector allows almost anything to clearly project an image up to 200 centimeters diagonally on any suitable surface. So you can use these also to create sort of projectable keyboards and stuff. Portable holo displays can be used on a nanocomp, bodycomp, or portacomp to provide a projected three-dimensional image within 10 centimeters of the projector. Printers to use silicon plastic that can be reused. Smart paper, so the lag makes it unsuitable for video or gaming. Spray-on video screen, so the image is passive 3D, so while almost as realistic as a holo, it's far cheaper and larger. It needs a nanocomp to control it. Static display is a three-dimensional holographic display aimed for the consumer market, and a stylus board capable of very high resolution for precision drawings. Then we got software, so memory chips allow you to store lots of data. We have comp operating systems, so there are different OSs. Digits is a lightweight OS for portacomps and nanocomps. A linkable PSD is used in most link phones and nanocomps as well. Uncommon on workstations. Metastable, often called Meta, is used for static workstations and starship and spacecraft computers. And then we have Orbis OS, which is found in Manchuria, similar to Metastable, only really used by Manchuria and some of its smaller client states. We've got civilian software, so emulators allow you to use software written for one system on another. Of course, we have those today. Entertainment software like games add +1 to the comfort rating on interstellar journeys to a maximum of +4. And then we have imaging software, DM +1 to art, holography or visual media checks, language crackers for translation, mapping and survey software, planetary reference libraries, reference guides, and translation chips. All these are listed down here. Military and security software, you have artillery control, so they can call down precise artillery strikes at areas designated on the map board. Then we have drone control software, filter programs that extracts random noise from electronic transmissions. You can clean up audio or video. Tactical analysis software grants DM +1 to tactics military checks, and if you have stuff like drones and recon teams and satellite images, then you will get +2 as all that is factored in as well. Then you got code breaking software. This can be illegal in some places. It uses bandwidth as a DM and attempts to break encryption. Breaking encryption requires an impossible 16 plus electronics computers check on 1D days using int. Then you got communicators. different types with different ranges. So you've got hand comms, broadcast voice and low power video, 36 hours of battery, range 20 kilometers. You can have encrypted ones, long range ones with 100 kilometers range. Then you got micro comms. They're a small adhesive patch that attaches behind the ear and uses your personal area network to connect to a transceiver located elsewhere on the body. Throat communicators used for the battlefield make communications while keeping your hands free. It's automatically activated once you speak and works for 24 hours. Then we have tight beam uplink communicators. So these communicate between a ship in orbit and a ground party. It can be used while moving, but you need to do a routine check electronics comms every round to remain locked on. In most orbits, the ship will be in an acceptable uplink position roughly 20% of the time. Interesting. Then we got some animals. So we've got some rules about transporting animals. Obviously, you'll need livestock for some of your colonies to stay alive and stuff like that. DNA modified livestock for frontier worlds. So the Burrow Varg, they go from Beta Canem. They can bite for D3 damage. They've got heightened senses and they're small. And they're carnivores. We've got the cow, takes 35 hits, can kick you for 2 dice of damage. Skills of melee 0, survival 0. They're large and they're tough, +3. The standard dogs as household pets and guard animals. So they're not like Neo dogs that we saw in the core set. 10 hits. We've got athletics, dexterity 2, melee natural 1, recon 1, survival 1, bite for 1d of damage. Heightened senses, small, and they're carnivores and chasers. We've got horses, 32 hits, athletics, strength 3, melee 0, survival 1. They can kick you for 2 dice, large +1. We've got llamas, 10 hits, athletic strength 2, melee 0, survival 2. Bite for 1d, large +1. Llama bites are unpleasant from what I've heard. We've got pigs, it's 10, melee 0, survival 1, bite 1d, tough +2, or omnivores. And then we got lists for various small animals, cats, chickens, goats, rabbits, rats, sheep, small dogs, and turkeys. And their stat blocks are listed along here. Then we got animal equipment, canine body armor. How cute is that? Gives them protection +6, tech level 10, 4 kilograms, no skills required. The exowombs can gestate animals from a fertilized egg up to normal birth size. So it can incubate and decant up to 4 cows or horses at the same time. They can be used for practically any animal. You got riding tacks for rideable animals. You get cybernetics for your animals too. Combat implants, cybernetic ears, cybernetic eyes, cybernetic limbs, hyperchargers, implant weapons, muscle implants, neural sheathing, RFID chips, subdermacomps, and subdermatalk. So they're typically used for training and control. Alright. You can have control rigs that tap into an animal's brainstem. Then you can control them by a remote operator. Well, that sounds terrible. So the different classes of rigs have different tech levels, can control animals of different sizes. Training implants, so they are nanowire electrodes that are more targeted. So they allow an animal to quickly learn a new set of skills. So the implants acting as sources of both positive reinforcement and punishment. Yikes. We got pentapod equipment, so these are bioengineered equipment. So we got biocontacts. They're transparent lenses that are worn during the eye. They're specific to the owner and they can be removed or stored or kept in the eyes indefinitely, and they allow oxygen to pass freely to the cornea. They also give you enhanced infrared vision, and squinting will give you 5x magnification. Got the bio sampler, that's this fuzzy looking guy here. They made it soft and furry and gave it a limited pattern of semi-random behavior to make it more appealing. So they become popular as pets. 3 hit, survival 3, they're an omnivore, and they eat stuff. Got the bio suit. It's a living protective suit, gives you +4, no skills required. Pentapod compass, a commercially unappealing disaster. Looks like a rounded lump of slimy translucent jelly. Gross. Hearing protection, earplugs. They are living creatures that sit in the ear canal, selectively filtering out certain sounds, loud noises, continuous droning, and similar irritants without affecting normal conversations, or the sounds of danger that often lurk on worlds of the frontier. They live in the ear canal, subsisting off sweat and earwax for up to 2 days, before they need to be returned to a nutrient solution for at least 4 hours. Oh, they also have their own version of the exowomb, and they can do different stuff. We've got the food converter, which failed spectacularly, converts certain types of proteins and carbohydrates to other things, and could synthesize some vitamins, but the aesthetics were disastrous. The creature was unpleasant, and the food was inedible, and it was horrendous. Basically, it was like eating the poo of a disgusting monstrosity. Pest controllers. These are attractive to insects and insect-like pests. They get stuck in the glob and become absorbed. Then we have water breathers. These are really cool. So they're kind of living crustaceans. Stick them on your face and the animal will convert the water into oxygen for you. And they have a little stat block here as well. Packing a seed. Small hardy bushes that produce a fruit with tough skin that shrinks when dried. So you can use it as a packing material. You've got pod plants. Dark green vine that produces produces pods similar to Terran gourds but with much stronger shells. 75% of the DNA comes from terrestrial watermelons. The interior pulp is inedible, but they're testing a new variety that will be edible, provides the full range of vitamins and high protein content. The stabilizer is an organic cocoon, protects delicate organs that can function in place of those of a comatose human being for an indefinite period of time. You can be stuffed into a stabilizer and this living cocoon will keep you alive with its own organs until you get somewhere safe. We've got sensors, pentapod life scanners, standard life sensors, give DM+4 to electronic sensors checks. Basic gives you +2, and the advanced can finally categorize mental activity and differentiate sapient life from non-sapient life. Otherwise, it's like a standard scanner. We got pentapod weapons, we got biolasers, and we got the capture gun. It looks like a rocket launcher made out of gristle and sinew. Gross. It fires a large egg-shaped construct that uncoils a dozen large thin tentacles with a slimy organic glue, so it can entangle people. The biolaser has a range of 30, damage 4D, and it has a trait 0G, so you can use it in zero gravity. The capture gun has a range of 10, weighs 3 kilos, and it can entangle people. Basically, it makes them very hard for them to escape. Biocompatible replacements, so these are like cybernetic replacements, but living replacements for your arm, hand, or foot, leg, eyes, minor organs, major organs, skins, or blood. Pentapods love their biomechanics. Then we've got medical equipment, standard first aid kits, gauntlet auto docs, which we see here. Can diagnose and treat wounds and diseases if it's at medic 0, and can dispense an array of medicines at +1 to all non-diagnostic medic checks. Medkits can be used to diagnose and treat minor injuries and stabilize serious conditions. Contain enough materials for 20 uses. Use of a medkit reduces normal healing times by half when used by someone with medic 1+. Medkit resupply packages will replace medkits that have been consumed. A lightweight auto dock we see here, so they're portable and inexpensive, intended only for temporary care. They add +1 to all medics checks, and it operates as medic 1 if there's not a human operator. The static auto dock is a permanent thing, so you'll place that in a hospital ward or on a starship. Boosts all healing rates by 6 times normal and adds DM+2 to all medic checks. Operates with medic 2 if there's no human operator. But medical imagers, so gauntlet imagers, build up a 3D image, DM+1 to diagnostic checks. Genetic imagers can gather genetic samples, and we have imaging dust, inspect hard to reach places like the interior of lung, sinuses, and GI tract. Portable images deliver high resolution images and full body scans, +2 to diagnostic medic checks. Static imagers give you +4 to diagnostic medic checks. Then got mobile surgeries, so we've got a big mobile med bay here and a mobile recovery ward. The med bay grants DM+3 to any medic or science biology check to identify a disease, parasite, or other organism, and DM+3 to all medic checks involving surgery, but it requires a human. Recovery ward can hold up to 6 patients and reduces healing times by 75%. Then we got drugs, so antibiotics. Targeted antibiotics grant +3 to medic checks to treat the disease, and DM+1 versus any other. Then we got digits. This is a wide spectrum antibiotic. Wide spectrum antibiotics inflict DM-2 to all checks from a combination of discomfort and exhaustion due to malnutrition. Grant DM+2 to any medic check made to treat an illness. Antivirals give you DM+1 to medic checks for viral illnesses. Targeted antivirals give you +2 to treat a specific illness. Interferon gamma is a potent broad-spectrum antiviral drug, +2 to medic checks to treat viral infections. Then we've got performance-enhancing drugs. Boost, so it gives you the fast metabolism trait and extends the duration by 2 hours. You can also get more initiative, but you can get violent convulsions if you get too much. Bounce is used to counteract the problems of low G or zero gravity. It only negates penalties, it doesn't add bonuses. If you take more than 1 dose in a 24-hour period and you fail a routine endurance check, you'll get limb paralysis, so don't do that. Breeze is a party drug, and it's highly illegal due to the possibility of a psychotic breakdown. If you fail a check when you take additional doses, then you reduce your EDU. Then we have J, memory enhancer, adding +4 to int and EDU, but it only lasts 2D hours. Okay. And we have Herc, increases the strength by +2 for a period of approximately 7 hours, 2D duration. Oh, and you can have a crash if you fail an endurance check when you're on the come down. Vasopressin Y, this allows you to learn things more quickly and boosts your brain's ability to form electrical pathways. But if you use it too much, then for more than a month, you start losing endurance, and then bad things happen. Metabolic drugs, Augmenter, allows rapid healing. Inhibitor slows your metabolism to allow you to basically hibernate. Then you got light painkillers, moderate painkillers, heavy painkillers, and Delambe Frere Ultrax painkillers. All of these can eliminate penalties from exhaustion, injury, or illness, but some of them can be addictive. Got vaccines, of course, other pharmaceuticals. What was an mRNA vaccine? Antivenoms, planetary adoption regimens give you DM+2 to checks made to combat planetary adoption syndrome. Phi adrenaline adrenaline 19, DM plus 4 to endurance checks made to resist allergy attacks and anaphylactic shock. Radox reduces radiation dose by 200 rats. Then we got symbiotes, so atmosphere filtration symbiotes, calcium fixers that are used for long duration space travel and fixes calcium to your bones. Detox basically removes the effects of a drug or toxin, but not biological agents. Oral hygiene symbiote scrubs teeth clean of bacteria and plaque. Skin hygiene symbiote, they reprogram skin mites to clean the skin. Wow. Regrowth and cloning, so you can regrow your limbs and organs in a regeneration collar or regeneration tank with varying amounts of time depending on whether it's a minor body part up to a critical organ. And you can also do full body cloning, but it's a very difficult medic check. DM plus 2 for a major frontier medical facility, DM plus 4 for a major core medical facility. Then you got Frontiers Cybernetics, so they give you some diagrams here. Subderma talk, augmented reality rig, subderma comp, so computers under the skin, transdermal links, personal area network controllers, augmented reality, skin watch, RFID chip, and virtual input device. So this is adding on to the stuff that was in the core rulebooks. The Growler is for communication with Eberus and duplicates the low notes that they use in their speech. Personal area network controls your personal area network, of course. Subdermatalk is a 15-kilometer range radio implanted behind the ear. You got the Neural Bridge, which is much like a neural link. It's a direct interface between an implanted subdermacomp and the brain. It can be utilized with the neural jack, but not required. Then we have the neural jack. When jacked to a piece of equipment, it gives you better control. DM plus 2 to any checks involving the use of the equipment, and in the case of vehicles and ships, DM plus 1 to initiative. If you're jacked into a vehicle or starship, you become almost insensible to control of your own body, so you get DM minus 4 to control your own body in those cases. Most military and civilian equipment at TL11 and higher have neural interface capability. Then you got Frontier Cybernetic Replacement. Cybernetic eyes are very common. Different packages that grant the heightened senses trait. A telescopic vision for 1 to 40x zoom. A lot of them have a camera function with internal storage for up to 300 pictures or 60 seconds of video. There are some shadow clinics that offer expensive but edgy modifications. You can also get flash-proof vision, thermal imaging, low-light imaging, cybernetic ears, low-frequency acoustic sensors, which again helps you to speak with people like the Eber, sound dampeners, which will filter out noisy environments, cybernetic limbs, so you kind of pay to increase the strength of these. So for cybernetic arm, you pay, for each additional point of strength beyond 7. For a leg, you pay for each additional point of endurance, and then you need cyberlimb batteries that'll last up to 96 hours of constant use. And you got cybernetic organs, including artificial hearts, lungs, kidneys, and small intestines. All this stuff requires maintenance. Cybernetic legs require a lot of maintenance. Arms require tech level minus 8 hours a month. All of the implants require only yearly maintenance. Then you got cyberlimb armor. Then we got assistive technology. So this is for disabled folk. You've got medical mobility exosuits, high gravity mobility exosuits, and mobility chairs. You got a hover chair. How awesome is that? They're rare. They are faster than any other mobility chair. And you've got off-road wheelchairs as well, and standard wheelchairs, some that are powered and manual. You've also got neural induction glasses that can restore sight if your optic nerve is still intact, but you have eye or retina damage. Then you got neural processing assistance. You can use this to determine a target's emotional state and whether they're telling the truth. Wow. Audio suppressor allows neurodivergent travelers to cope with a crowded, busy room and conversation situations. And gravity beds designed to support and exercise individuals from low or zero G environments when they have to go to high G environments. Then we got security and police equipment. So different kinds of electronic locks with different levels of possibility and challenge, plus a link to an alarm. Mechanical locks, various different types, again with an alarm link. Biometric analyzers to check people as they move through your scanners. Handprint analyzers, retina scanners, voice analyzers. Security circumvention tools. Some of these are illegal depending on the law level. Locksmith kits, electronic security kits, can bypass electronic locks. Then you have different kinds of alarms, klaxons with a 40-hour battery pack. Security gas will knock people out, and there are sleep-inducing gases called doze. Formalin gas is called fear gas. Many claim it represents cruel and unusual punishment as it inflicts panic. And you got simple intrusion detectors like floor and display pressure sensors, entrance switches, and simple beam sensors. Complex intrusion detection includes motion sensors, air current sensors, thermal sensors, millimeter wave radar, and ground penetrating radar. So there's all different ways of protecting your expensive kit or private areas. You've got forensics kits for gathering intelligence and helping your investigation checks. Surveillance equipment like bugs, cable taps if you want to tap into fiber optic cables or other similar devices. Improved bugs, cables that can be threaded through ventilator shafts and concealed very easily. They're very difficult to find as they don't emit any signal. Got laser ears, so like a shotgun microphone pointed at somebody, you can hear what they're saying via comp or link phone. Shotgun microphone, as we see here, is an example of a low-tech listening device. Surveillance implant, it's called ear witness. It's a glass capsule implanted behind the ear or along the scalp and hidden under the hair. And also, finally, the video bug gives you the sharpest eyesight, 1mm fiber optic light guide with a fisheye lens. Not enough for full tri-D broadcast quality, but is good enough for most surveillance purposes and limited low light capabilities as well. Then we got ECM, so countermeasures, sensor detect. So these can pick up electromagnetic radiation, detect whether you're being looked at by radar. You can jam radar actively. You can use these bug detectors to scan for bugs, sophisticated bugs. At a higher tech level, you get a negative dice modifier. Bug jammers will scramble the output of any bugs. Send suppress transmits a field of white noise that washes out conversations within 1 meter. It doesn't affect the video, though, on video bugs. Hollow fields create shifting patterns that distort and block video in tri-D. Scramblers are aftermarket encryption devices. Then you've got restraint systems, so handcuffs, immobilizers, wheel and fan locks to disable vehicles, foam that can be sprayed into intakes, fan ducts, or engines, which adheres and solidifies, making the vehicle unusable. You can inhibit the electronics in the vehicle so it won't start. Spike belts can put out tires, and on a motorcycle the effect is catastrophic. And then you have the EMF emitters that can be used to try and shut down electronics or flyers, personal tracking devices, secure guard trackers, radio trackers with GPS. And then we got some basic weapons, so hand weapons from hand picks to wood axes. The hatchet and sledgehammer can be thrown a limited distance, but they all have damage between 2D and 3D. Then we got civilian firearms like the Magnum, the Blackbird, Bluebird, and Redbird basically are sort of nicknames for these types of conventional revolvers, which you see here. Then we got the trailer arms, wallet gun, we've got auto pistols. This one has the trait bulky. You can see they can do a fair bit of damage, but the range, of course, for pistols is limited. Then we got police specials, shotguns, punch action shotguns, various different varieties, and the Wu Beijing hammer. This is a semi-automatic shotgun. So these do between 3 or 4D damage, but again, not an enormous range on these. And limited magazines, depending on whether you have like pump action or, multiple shells in the magazine. Hunting rifles. So they have a much greater range, as you can see, and pretty decent damage from the big bullets, but they've got small magazines except for the FC68 there, which is an auto fire rifle. So yeah, these are just pretty typical slug firing weapons. So surplus military stuff, you can get assault rifles. This is a 7.5mm conventional assault rifle, the FAA-73, which is here. The Auto 2, the G22 does 3D damage and has armor piercing 4, Auto 3 in scope, and the BF1 has Auto 2 in scope, so you can't fit a scope on the FAA-73. Submachine guns, we've got a few examples here. The Type 34 and Arno V14. Short range because they will buck a lot in your hands, but they carry a lot of bullets. Then we got energy weapons. So here's the M19 point destruction weapon. It's got a photonic core plasma cell, so it does 1D times 10 damage. Armor piercing 20, blast 2, and bulky. And the SVB is a laser rifle, which does 5D of damage, long range, scope, and 0G. And then we got anti-armor grenade launchers, rocket-propelled grenades, different types, recoilless rifles, magazine-fed grenade launchers, with 30mm propelled grenades, gas baton launchers, and police weapons that include some less lethal options. And so all these anti-armor grenade launchers and the different types of gas grenades are listed down here. For less lethal stuff, we have stunners, typically sonic stunners. We also have the 6-stick, shock baton, and shock gloves. So the 6-stick makes you vomit, and the shock baton and shock gloves give you electric shocks. And then there are darts that give you tranks as well. And these are all listed here. We've got sonic weapons, the 6-stick, and the shock batons, and they all do stun damage. And the M9 WAS here has a blast of 8 as well to stun a bunch of people. And then we got orbital weapons. So these are for use in orbit. We've got the rocket pistol, so they fire fin-stabilized rockets instead of normal bullets. We've got the gyrojet combine. We have the nail gun and the neural disruptor. So these are all drawn out nicely here. And then we've got service duty assault rifles and weapon systems. So different sizes of Gauss weapons. Here we have service duty weapons. So these are going to be military, difficult to obtain. Assault rifles and stuff you could obtain at surplus, but not these so much, because we've got machine guns, laser guns, combat lasers, automatic grenade launchers, auto turrets. These are proper military weapons with, you know, heavy damage, and auto 4, auto 6, armor piercing, all that kind of stuff. And then you got body armor as well, which again, depending on law level, could be illegal depending where you are. Riot gear will give you basic protection of +8, half armor only +2, and then you got some surplus military armor scraps that you can get. And then you've got the really heavy armor over here, which will be difficult to get, like explosive ordnance disposal armor is, you know, a bomb suit, stuff like that. And there you go. That is the conclusion of our look at the tools for frontier living for Traveler 2300 AD. Hope you found that useful. There's a lot of great stuff in here. Again, it just gives you the feel of that, the life on the frontier and all the crazy stuff that you got to deal with. Plus, there's some cool, interesting stuff in there. Gives you that frontier vibe. As I said, I will look at the other stuff for Traveler 2300 AD as well. Once again, it's cross-compatible with Mongoose, Traveler, and Charted Space. Just keep stuff under tech level 12 and you should be fine. So you can also use this if you want to flesh out like a frontier world or a lower tech level world in a regular Traveler game. So these could be useful for that too. I think it's a great addition to the main set. Includes a lot of new stuff, and I hope you enjoyed the video. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Do leave a like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you think. And next time I hope to come back with some more Traveler stuff for you when I next buy from Mongoose. Until then, do give me a shout out in the comments and try and keep me motivated. And if you feel up to it, feel free to contribute via my Ko-fi link in the description down below. All right, until then, see you guys next time. Take care and bye-bye.